the EU finally succeeded. Bulgaria, a country that occupies an important position in China's new Eurasian Land Bridge project, suddenly became the focus of the Sino-European competition a few months ago. In the bidding for the Bulgarian railway project worth up to 610 million euros, Chinese companies were unexpectedly forced to withdraw. What is remarkable is that the EU finally handed the project to a Spanish company. What is the EU's deep meaning behind this dramatic turn? How should China deal with such a situation? Today, I will discuss the answers to these two questions with you. Bulgaria is located in the Balkan Peninsula in southeastern Europe, facing the Black Sea to the east, and is an important transportation hub in Europe. Not far to its southeast is the Turkish Strait, which is 361 kilometers long and is the only channel between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. It is also the only way for Europe to the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. This makes Bulgaria's geographical location extremely important and is known as the throat of the world. Despite such an important geographical location and strategic value, as of 2023, Bulgaria's GDP is about $100 billion and its per capita GDP is only $12,000. As far as I know, the main reason for this situation is that Bulgaria's trade is highly dependent on land transportation, and about 50% to 70% of the trains are still old models from the last century. The mechanical parts of these old trains have worn out, and the electrical systems are not reliable enough, which seriously affects the efficiency and safety of transportation. The remaining 30% to 50% of the trains are relatively modern, mainly introduced in the early 21st century, with advanced mechanical and electrical systems. These modern trains are not only stable in operation, but also energy efficient and environmentally friendly. But due to their limited number, these modern trains can hardly meet the growing transportation needs. 2 years ago, China joined hands with European and Asian partners to lay a railway connecting Turkey's bustling city of Istanbul with the Bulgarian border. This 67-kilometer railway not only seamlessly connects with the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway line carefully constructed by China under the Belt and Road Initiative, opening up an unprecedented fast path for China-Europe trains, but also becomes a new channel for economic and cultural exchanges between China and Europe. In order to maximize its geographical advantages, Bulgaria launched an ambitious transportation infrastructure upgrade plan in December 2023. According to the investigation, the plan mainly includes the purchase of 20 electric trains and a 15-year maintenance and employee training agreement, with a total contract value of 610 million euros. The Chinese company's offer at the time was 607.2 million levs, a staggering 46.7% reduction in costs compared to the initial estimate of the Bulgarian Railway Department. In contrast, the Spanish manufacturer's offer was as high as 1.22 billion levs, almost twice that of the Chinese company. The reason why Chinese companies can reduce costs so much is due to the Chinese government's firm support for the Belt and Road Initiative, which has provided subsidies of up to 1.75 billion euros. In this context, Bulgaria's choice seems particularly wise. But recently, the EU has conducted an unprecedented strict review of Chinese companies in this tender. They accused these companies of using subsidies to disrupt the market order and stated that in order to protect European interests, they will continue to take all necessary measures to maintain European economic security and market competitiveness. Despite this, the investigation did not produce any results, but slowed down the entire process. In the end, Chinese companies were forced to withdraw from the Bulgarian railway project bidding. The EU subsequently announced that they would end the investigation and transfer the contract to the Spanish company because the Chinese company withdrew its bid. Are you also curious about why the EU did this? In 2023, the high-speed railway from Jakarta to Banten in Indonesia was successfully opened to traffic, like a shining pearl, inlaid on the map of global high-speed railways. This not only demonstrates the leap-forward progress of China's high-speed railway technology, but also highlights China's strong influence in the field of global infrastructure construction. CRRC, this name has become the leader of the global train manufacturing industry. Its advanced technology and excellent service, like a bright business card, have crossed borders and entered more than 110 countries and regions around the world, writing one brilliant chapter after another. However, in the eyes of the European Union, the development of China's high-speed rail seems to have become a threat. As a free trade zone with a huge economic scale and profound historical heritage, the European Union has long dominated global trade. However, in the face of the rapid rise of emerging economies represented by China, the European Union began to worry that its former hegemony would be challenged and its influence would gradually weaken. This deep sense of crisis has quietly transformed into suspicion and rejection of China's high-speed rail. The EU's exclusionary attitude is actually to safeguard its own technical standards and market interests. They hope to build an exclusive technical barrier by uniformly using EU high-speed rail technical standards so as to exclude the penetration and competition of Chinese technology. In January this year, the European Commission released an economic security plan, which clearly prevented key infrastructure from falling into the hands of competitors, especially emerging economies like China. In fact, this is not the first time that the EU has taken action against Chinese companies. Prior to this, a series of political and economic pressures have quietly descended on China's high-speed rail going overseas journey. Take Italy as an example. The country once signed a landmark high-speed rail contract with a Chinese company. However, this agreement, which carried the vision of cooperation between the two countries, ended in disgrace due to the subtle intervention of the European Union. Italy unilaterally cancelled the contract, which dealt a heavy blow to the overseas layout of Chinese companies. Coincidentally, the undersea tunnel project between Finland and Estonia was originally another example of China's railway technology and capital export, but it was also forced to stop under the covert pressure of the European Union. So, facing such a situation, how should China respond? In recent years, China's high-speed rail technology has achieved remarkable achievements. But in the global competition, Chinese companies must realize that only by continuously improving technology and quality can they occupy a place in the international market. In the international market, a good business reputation and image are the most valuable intangible assets of an enterprise. Chinese companies should focus on improving operational transparency, following international rules, respecting local culture and customs, actively fulfilling social responsibilities, and winning the trust and respect of the international community with integrity. In addition, Chinese companies should strengthen cooperation with local enterprises and governments, deeply understand local markets and regulations, and realize the localization of products, services, and management models. This will not only better meet the needs of the local market, but also effectively deal with the risks brought about by cultural differences and policy changes. Finally, China should actively participate in international organizations, promote international cooperation projects such as the Belt and Road Initiative through multilateral platforms, and strengthen exchanges and cooperation with various countries in the fields of economy, trade, science and technology, and culture. This will not only help enhance China's voice and influence in the global governance system, but also create a more favorable external environment for Chinese companies to explore international markets.